We did it.
We did. Right, I'm just going to get and see if there's any comments at all. And I'll say hello to everybody in comments as well. So I have a lovely guest with me today. You kind of get two Emilys for the price of one.
You do.
I will introduce her properly in just a moment. Bear with me. Right, so today my lovely guest is Emily from Harvey Art. And right, so Emily is a heartwarming illustrator. She creates beautiful stationery and fun content, which you will find through her website shop, her YouTube channel, and her Patreon, as well as her Instagram. So in this talk today, we're diving into Emily's journey and looking at what inspires her business, as well as the important connections and lessons throughout her journey of business and life, really. So for anyone who doesn't know me, I am Emily. Oh, dear me, let's start this again. I'm Emily Kalcher. I'm an astrologer. I'm an intuitive tarot card reader and a moon lover. And we are in Gemini season with the Gemini new moon tomorrow. And why not have two guests in a month? And one of these is the lovely Emily we have today. So, hey, Emily.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining me. So lovely to have you here. How are you doing?
Problem. I'm very good, thank you. Yeah, this is fun. This is really great. Thank you so much for having me.
So, as you know, I've got a few different things that I'd love to ask you. And for anyone who doesn't know, I am a patron of Emily's, and that's kind of how we met. I think it was your friend Sam who recommended that I join your Patreon because you have lots of different creative things that I might like.
Yes. Yeah, you've been with me for a long time now, right? It's been over a year. Over a year you've been with me, right? I can't remember.
Yeah, I might have been 2020.
Yeah, could have been. Could have been, yeah.
Welcome to Katie Cannon Designs. Nice
Hi,
to join us.
Katie.
So let's get started then. So what is your why for your business, Emily? Why did you start?
Well, the business was actually an accident, really. I say this a lot. There was no plan for this. You know, there was never a moment where I thought, right, I'm going to make a stationery business and I'm going to do all of these things. It was just never in the planning. I fell into it because of circumstances and how things were. I had no other option than to start a business from working for myself. I was unemployed. I had a new baby. You know, the options were quite limited for me. So the why of doing it kind of grew over time. I kind of fell into it accidentally. And then over the few months that followed, and I started to realize, hang on, this could become a thing here if I carry on. The why became just for my son, really. Everything I've done is for him. So when I was pregnant, I didn't know, I didn't realize this was how it was going to go, but he is certainly the reason I'm still doing it right now. Yeah.
Beautiful. So yeah, it's kind of cool that you just sort of fell into things, because you were originally doing kind of, what were you originally doing before this?
I was working in animation. So my degree is in animation. I wanted to work for Disney. I wanted to be an artist working in a studio, and I always dreamed of having my name in the credits when you watch TV, and like that was the dream. And it took a long time to get there. I did a few jobs, but by the time I was pregnant, I was working in TV, kids TV. I was creating characters for TV shows. So I was doing the dream job. I just found out that I was having a baby, which was another dream of mine. I just didn't realize they were both going to happen at the same time. So yeah, when I got pregnant, I actually found out I was pregnant in like the second week of that job. So I got this dream job, and then I found out I was pregnant, and thankfully I believe things just happen for a reason, like, and it all lines up, all the things line up, because we'd been trying for a baby for a few years and it wasn't working and it was really hard, and we decided we were going to stop. I was going to take this job because it was the dream job, and we were going to focus on that and then see what happens in the future. And I signed the contract for that job, and it was a 9-month contract. And then I found out I was pregnant 2 weeks in. So how weird is that? I did the full job, like a dream job. I worked up until I was 8.5 months pregnant. And then I left that job on the 1st of February. I'd completed it. I'd done it all. I got my name on the credits, and he was born 2 weeks later. Like, I just you can't write these things. It just all worked. It worked out just perfectly.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure in some ways, because you've documented a lot of things on YouTube, haven't you, as well? Your whole journey of
everything,
how you started. yeah, exactly. How you started and where you are now, and your Patreon and Kickstarters you've done, and lots of different things. It's just amazing to actually be able to have that all there for him to look back on as he grows up.
I'm realizing that now. At the time when I started, I would never have believed I would have this many videos and would have documented so much. I just thought I was gonna film a little bit, like I didn't see how it would go. But now looking back, I'm really conscious that, if something were to happen to me, or maybe I can't continue the business in the future, or, even when Luca's very old and has his own grandchildren, he'll be able to show them me and what I was doing. And that makes me so proud. So whenever anybody says like, oh, I don't know whether to film anything and I'm scared to upload it, I just think, like, don't think about yourself right now in the moment. Think about in 100 years time and who can look back on that and how special that is. So that's why I carry on doing it. I do it for that reason. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. So obviously with any kind of business, we have sort of struggles, but we also have things that go really well. What kind of struggles and things have you faced, and in starting, and also, I guess, in starting the business to begin with?
Well, nothing goes smoothly, right? The reason this business is where it's at is because I've had great things happen. I've had setbacks. But I think the reason this time almost seems like it's going, like, I think from the outside, this business looks like it's succeeding and doing really well. And I suppose it is, but people don't see that I've tried to do this once before and it failed. So I suppose that is one downside I've had. Although this version of the business started in 2019 with a newborn, the first iteration of the business started, in 2014. I started this for the first time when I'd left uni and was trying to find a job and couldn't get hired. I started doing freelance work, and then I got a job, and then after a few years I decided to go freelance again and build a business again, and I did that in 2017, and that failed. I did a year of like just not working, and I couldn't pay the bills, and it was very stressful. So I think right now people just see how it's going and just assume that I started in 2019 and it's just been instant success. But in fact, the only reason this is working right now is because I had many years of it not working, and I learned a lot of lessons doing that, But I still have setbacks now, I'm literally in the process of leaving my dream studio and I'm now working at home again. Some would see that as a setback. I suppose it is. But it's, it's just constantly highs and lows. And overall, if you even them out, things are going up. So I'm happy.
Good. Glad to hear it. Yeah, I guess that's life, isn't it? There's always little things that sort of throw you off course, but then you actually find that it's putting you on your path that's slightly better and more aligned to where you want to be. And if your purpose is kind of, right, well, actually, I want to be there to do the school run or whatever for my child, I want to be there and watch him grow up. And I also want to have my creative flair and to be able to express myself and all these things. Then actually, you've already done a lot of what people behind you have dreamed of. So to be able to do that, you're already a success in many people's eyes. So
that's the thing. Sometimes when you have these little changes or setbacks or however, whatever you want to refer to them as, like I said before, I genuinely believe like everything happens for a reason. So even, you know, the good, the bad, as sometimes when the bad things happen in the moment, it can seem like the worst thing. It can feel like when I handed my notice in for my dream studio, it was really hard. I cried a lot of tears and it felt like this is going to be the end. But then it takes stepping back from it and looking at the bigger picture and seeing like, hang on, no, if we look at everything that's happened in the past 4 years, yes, this is a little blip going down, but overall, like, you know, we're doing good. So I tend to do that when I have things that are going a bit wrong or not going the way I planned. I try to take a step back and look at it and think, well, how am I going to feel about it in 5 years? Like, how am I going to feel about it next year? Instead of worrying about how you're feeling right now and like the anxiety and stress. Yes, you can feel like that for a day, but how are you going to feel next week about it? How are you going to feel next month about it? And I tend to do that with all aspects of like business, and it does help. Definitely helps.
Yeah, that's amazing because it kind of grows that resiliency, doesn't it? You're just like, well, actually, look how far I've come and look what I've bounced back from. I mean, yeah, not to sort of what's the word? Not to say that any kind of challenges and whatever we go through aren't hard. Of course, life can be hard, but at the same token, it is perspective, isn't it? And
it is.
It's amazing how far you've come, and I'm really proud to be one of your Patreons. I am.
Oh, thank you. So that's so kind. And also, it's good to. I was always someone that if I had any worries or stress, I would deal with it on my own because why would I pass that on to anyone? But I found talking to other people also makes you realize I think sometimes we make situations a lot worse in our heads than they actually are. And it takes talking to someone for them to be like, hang on, you don't need to worry. Like, this isn't a big deal. You're making it a bigger deal than it is. And sometimes talking to others and they sort of like explain to you that it's okay that you're making this a big deal. Like you're making this big, but just know it's not, and you are going to be okay. I found talking to other people really does help and not being so in my head all the time.
Yeah, I tend to live there quite a lot. being a Gemini and all. Actually, this is not really something I'd asked before, but it's fine. It's basically I was just thinking, what's your star sign, your zodiac sign? Is it Capricorn?
I'm a Capricorn. I am a Capricorn, yeah.
See, I've got a Capricorn moon, which is basically the feeling center of like your internal world. It's just like, yeah. Because I know some of the kind of sometimes it's like the slight black and white thinking, but other times there's the kind of, well, actually, I can be practical. I know how to handle myself. I know how to do these different things with lots of different situations. And that grounded ability can just be there. And it's just like really cool to have that. So although I'm somebody that looks like they're like really up in the clouds and doing those things at once, but then to keep myself on schedule, I know I've got that within me somewhere. So I can tap into that. I can relax.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So that's where we meet on the zodiac, as it were. Just for anyone who's interested.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Let me just look at some other things I wanted to dive into. Oh yes, of course. So what are you most proud of in your business or personal life or anything?
Well, there's the obvious answers of family and all of those things. I'm super proud of where we're at. But in terms of business, I suppose you know, being in the Patreon, I'm really proud of a community I've built on there. It feels super special, and I know I'm biased to say that, but actually, as somebody that I really needed a community like this when I was starting, and I think that's one of the reasons I failed a few years ago, because I didn't have, you know, the help and the support of others. And I'm really proud to say I've helped build a place. I get letters and messages daily, weekly from people to say like, my business is doing good and you're a massive part of that. And that of all the things I will do in the years to come, that is what I'm most proud of. That stack of letters I have from people, like that, there'll be no financial reward, there'll be no project I do that will take the place of those letters from people. I'm super proud of it. Yeah. Oh, Levine's here. A wonderful supporter of mine. Yeah, I am. I'm super proud. I'm super proud of like of everything I've done, all the products I've made, everything. There's nothing really that takes the place of the Patreon community. I would drop everything and just continue with that for sure.
Oh. Yeah, it is beautiful to have people to bounce your ideas off, but also there's people out there supporting you and really want you to succeed, whether it's in your business or in the businesses of all the other people in the community. You're just like, we've got each other, and that's a lovely thing to have.
It is, because there's a lot of the internet can be a really cruel place. It can be a really, you see it a lot. You see behind a keyboard, people can be not nice. And I absolutely love it when people come together and there's just no what's the word? It's just pure love and joy. And I just think if the rest of the internet was like that, it would be a much nicer place. So yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is what I'm getting tongue-tied as well. I think the world does need a lot more compassion, and if we can have those little moments, whether it's in building our communities or whether it is in just how we show up and how we show each other that, okay, I've been through this challenge, so someone coming after me, if they can see this and see that I'm okay now, I can help them. And it's kind of really cool to have that. So
yeah, there's a quote and I will not remember it at all, but it's something about like, it's okay working your way to the top and trying to succeed and getting to the top of this mountain, but unless you're not like turning around and grabbing a hand to reach someone else to come up there with you, it's going to be very lonely. And I just think that's what I try and do. Like I work hard, I want to succeed, I want to do Luca proud, I want to like smash it, as some people would say. I do, I really do. I'm really ambitious, but it's not enjoyable for me to just kind of chill up there and look down. Like, I want people to come with me, and that's why I do my eHearts markets. That's why I do all the things, because I just think if I can help a few others get a little bit higher on the mountain and they can then pass that on to their community, we're all going to be at the top of the mountain. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. We'll have a party up there. And that's just, you know what I mean? I just think it's just a better way to live your life. And I think that's why we attract such great people in the eHearts, because, you know, I'm sure you agree, but like everything you give off, it encourages that into your life. And so when I'm like bringing people up the mountain, I just feel like that's why we attract such lovely people, because everyone wants that. They all want to be part of that. So yeah, there we go. That's my mountain talk for you.
That is such a Capricorn thing.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's the mountain goat. I've struggled, but I'm bringing people up, and we're going to be at the top. I'm going to leave a legacy, and I'm going to be there supporting everybody. That's just so Capricorn. Oh my God, Emily.
Oh,
perfect.
Good. That's good.
Perfect.
Love it. Oh, I'll tell my mum that. She'll find that really funny. When can I ask? Because I know I'm a Capricorn, but I don't know much more about that. So, like, what is the earliest day in January that you can be a Capricorn, or is it December? Like, how does it? How does
December.
Oh, yeah, okay. Because I was due to be born. I was due to be born on New Year's Eve. My mum went into labor with me on New Year's Eve, and it took like a week for me to be born. So I was just wondering, like, how I was always going to be a Capricorn, so it's fine. Destined.
Actually, I think I will just shout out to say that basically something that Emily has, that I actually hang on my Christmas tree every year now, is a really cool design of a mug, and it's all sparkly and pretty, and in Emily's lilac-y colours, as it would be. So it says hug in a mug, and I got really inspired. It's kind of like a draw your own style sort of thing. But I then made this little mug, which is a hug in a mug.
Cute.
And depicting the new moon. We are a new moon at the moment, going in, I can't remember the exact time, I have to look it up. I'm writing the blog tonight, so anyway. So it's we are in the new moon kind of phase, and the Gemini new moon is tomorrow, if you're in the UK. But if you're in America, I believe it's this afternoon. So cool. Yeah, but yeah, just thought there's lots of little things that Emily's inspired me to do in her community, and it's really cool to be able to be here as well. So back to you, Em. What else do we want to know? Oh yeah, so what kind of goals and things do you have for the future, and how do you stay consistent with those?
Well, my goals have changed a lot over the years. I'm still as ambitious as I was when I was starting the business and like eager to like make it work. I'm still there, but my kind of priorities have shifted. So I suppose when I started, I had nothing. I had no job, no money. So everything was like, right, we're going to have to just put all the hours in. Like, how are we going to make this work? How are we going to pay the bills and do all these things? And I've done that for years now. And I've got to the point now where I've built something that is quite sustainable. It's doing really well. And I can now shift my focus to be more family orientated. So before, although it was really hard, and I wouldn't change it because I wouldn't be where I was without doing it, but like anytime I had a break from being mum, as in like grandparents took over or helped out, or I would jump into the office, get work done. So now Luca is starting school. So we're having a big change in the family, and my focus is now on him. So actually I'm going to have the same amount of time to work because of how the day is going to be broken up. But my focus and my goals now are to carry on a business that is, paying the bills, doing all the things. But at 3:30, I'm going to go and pick him up, and I'm going to be mum, and I'm going to be able to do all those things. And my goal for the next few years is to just have a healthy balance of business and family life. And I didn't have that when I had a newborn. I really didn't. I was very focused on the business. And I was a mum, and a very good mum, and I did everything I should have done, but I didn't look after myself. So I didn't sleep well. I didn't eat great. I didn't exercise and do all the things. So, yeah, the goals right now are not business goals. They are life, family balance. And I think if I get those right, the business will only do well because of it, because I'll be in a much better place. I'll be a healthier person. So yeah, there are still some business goals. I want to grow my Patreon community. I want to keep growing it. I want it to be a place where new mums, new parents, people that are wanting to start a business just like me, if they come online and say, I'm looking for a community, I want my name to be in the comments to be like, have you checked out Emily's community? Because it's the place to be. Like, that is a goal, like, to have that. So, and I can do that. I can keep building that while I'm being mum. So yeah, no massive goals to like make new products or to take on staff, or I had those goals a few years ago. I don't have them anymore. I'd like to have some time with family, maybe go on a couple of holidays. That would be nice. Yeah, it's just a shift, really. Yeah,
I guess a lot of us want that, don't they? We want that that life work balance, and to be able to work out what's actually a priority for us and to honor it, rather than to allow sort of work and things to be too in the forefront. It's like, well, actually, am I working to live, or am I living to work?
Yeah. And what's really hard is money is although we don't want it to, I don't know how to phrase it, but having no money can really, it's not good in a lot of ways. We know this, but having a newborn and no income, I was desperate. I think desperation, and you put in a lot of hours and you do everything you can to make sure that those bills are paid. And that's what I did in 2019. And I think that's why things took off, because I was doing everything, and I wasn't just uploading a video every week. Like, I was putting everything into it because I just thought this has to work. I cannot go back to doing a 9 to 5, like I can't do it. So although it's hard, sort of saying we don't want to work to excess, and like to the point where I don't know what I'm saying, but basically in 2019, I was in a very different mindset, because like right now, for example, we've built this Patreon, I built my shop and done all these things where I don't have to sit at my desk at midnight to think, like panicking, thinking, what can I do because I need to pay the mortgage tomorrow? Like that was where it was at in 2019, and I had to work very differently. And now I've got to the point where I can say, right, I'm going to have this week off, and then in August I'm having the whole of August off, and I can do that now because I've built a business that allows it. So I'm in a fortunate position. I can do it, but I also understand the struggles of, so there has been a lot of change over the past few years, but it's more just for people that are starting a business and are in that mindset that I was at, where it's a struggle and you're just desperate to work all hours. You still have to look after yourself, and that's something I didn't do. I didn't prioritize sleep. I didn't prioritize nutrition and all of those things. I thought, I need to pay bills, so I'm going to have to go and work. So yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
Do you have any particular advice for people that are at the beginning of their journey, or who are sort of going through some of these things that you had to sort of struggle through, but obviously you don't want them to?
It's hard because I wouldn't be where I am now if I hadn't gone through those struggles. Like they've made me a stronger person. I know, like it's not that I want people to struggle, but just knowing that you can get through it and you'll come out of it a much, I don't want to say better person, because that's not the word I'm looking for, but like you'll come out of it more experienced and stronger. And what I would say, if you're just starting out, is to look after yourself. Like we said, make sure you're sleeping, make sure you're eating, make sure you're getting outside. On days where it feels like it's not working and you want to just throw the towel in and give up, do that. Have a day off. Like, throw the towel in for the day and say, right, that's it. That's it for today. We're calling quits and we'll come back to it tomorrow. Do that. Don't stress yourself out and work through it. And also, the best decision I ever made, looking back, and this is one of those things like we were saying earlier, at the time it felt like my world was ending, but now I've looked at it with bigger picture. It was the best decision. Was I was building a business back in 2017. I was about a year into it and I wasn't paying the bills. I was crying pretty much daily, very stressed. I was trying for a baby because I was desperate. That wasn't working either. And I just said, right, I've had enough, stopping this. And that's when I went and got my dream job. I've got that interview and got it. And at the time, I felt like the biggest failure, because all my family knew that I was working for myself and I'd taken on this massive thing and I couldn't pay the bills. Like, it just felt like such a failure. And taking that job, I remember having to tell everybody to be like, oh, I'm going back to work. And that just felt like that conversation felt bad. But like everything came out of it, because I found out I was pregnant. I sorted my finances out, like everything sorted itself out. And then I tried again and it's worked. So when I see people struggling and saying like, I think I'm going to go and get a job, it's not working, I don't see that as a bad thing. I'm like, that's great. The fact that you have acknowledged that it's not working, so I'm going to stop. I'm going to do this instead until I can sort everything out, and then we'll try again. I'm like, yeah, that's great. That's not a failure. That's great that it's not working. You've acknowledged that it's not working instead of carrying on in denial. And I just know those people will try again in a year, 2 years time, and they'll do better because they know what not to do. So yeah, that's not to say to people that are just starting to like give up. That's not what I mean. But acknowledging that if it's not working, there are steps you can take. And it's not a failure to do that, if that makes sense. So that's kind of my biggest advice for people starting out and struggling. You don't have to. You don't have to struggle. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, actually, there are lots of people, Disney himself, failing to success.
Yeah.
There are examples of many people throughout time who you think, well, actually, they're a success. But who defines them as that success? And what have they had to do in order to get there? So famously, Disney himself went bankrupt and actually had to bounce back, and because he still had that conviction. I think that's partly what you were saying, that if you've got the conviction and the will to do something with your life and that it's really important to you, you will do it. But it doesn't matter if you have to go and do a few things in between. As long as you've still got that will, you'll come back to it, and then you'll build back stronger and you'll feel a lot better. You'll grow from those experiences. And actually everything in life is a bit of a learning and growing experience, isn't it? So
it is. And I see it a lot with we get a lot of people in the Patreon who are maybe started a business during COVID. That happened a lot. You know, people were laid off jobs or were put on furlough, so they started their work, like their own businesses. And you know, things were busy then because people were shopping online, and you know, people that open businesses in lockdown 2020 had instant success because people were shopping. And then when the world opened up again and business kind of slowed back down to normal levels, I had a lot of messages from people to say like, I'm getting no sales. I'm going to have to go and get a part-time job to fund my small business. And like seeing that as such a negative, and although it feels like it because we want to spend all of our time on our small businesses, I try and tell them, yes, you're going to have to go back and get a part-time job to help fund your life. But that pressure that you will take off your small business, that pressure I had in 2019, because that was my only source of income. So I was like trying to figure out money, like ways to make money at midnight, because it's like, I've got to pay the bills tomorrow. You're taking that pressure off yourself. So you can like just enjoy your small business. You know, you can just, the bills will be paid and you can kind of build a business there without the stress of it being your only income. I see it as a positive. Like, I don't want people to think that going back to work at Starbucks is that stepping back. It's only like me taking this room in my back bedroom from my dream studio. I'm doing it so that I save money that I can put back into the business. It might seem on the outside that I'm taking a step back, but it's not. Like what it's going to open up for me. And I think that with people that are starting out that need to, you know, have a job on the side, don't see it as, don't compare yourself to other people. Don't compare yourself to me or somebody that's doing it full time, because I'm like 10 years into this with multiple failures, you know? Yeah, when I see people having to take a second job, although I can understand how hard that is, I also see that for their mental health and financially, they're going to be in a better place because they're not going to have to worry about those bills. And I just remember that feeling, and it's just the worst feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. At the moment, I have a muggle job full time.
Yeah.
I mean, when I say muggle job, it's sort of non-spiritual, non-creative in some respects. But at the same token, I know that there are some lives that I'm making a little bit better by occasionally giving some kind of astrological interpretation for free. I mean, I don't make a habit of it, but it's literally a word of wisdom can occasionally change someone's day around.
Yeah.
I see that actually maybe I'm supposed to still be there for a little bit while I save up some funds for the next round. So actually I'm doing the London School of Astrology. I'm going to start that hopefully in October, which is the next round of my training of things that I want to do. And potentially that would fund my future a hell of a lot more and become world-renowned astrologer. So
exactly. And that's it. And it's like, although some days you'll probably wake up and think, oh, this is not what I want to be doing with my time. The pressure that takes off you financially in terms of, do you know what I mean? It's that I just have to remind people sometimes, like, I know it's hard. I know it's not what you want to do, but the stress you're not going to have by going, you know what I mean? It's so I do try and encourage people.
Yeah, saving a few funds here and there and really sort of honouring the craft of that. And in my business particularly, not just doing the astrology, although I love that. I'm doing the creative side of making a few products here and there, selling those as well to hopefully uplift people's lives, because who doesn't want a little affirmation here and there, and who doesn't want to feel good about themselves on a daily basis, look in the mirror and think, oh, actually, I'm all right. I'm doing okay.
No, I agree 100%.
And I loved that actually about one of your Kickstarters. So for people who don't know what either Patreon or Kickstarter are, so Patreon is you pay a little amount per month to support creators so that they can go on and hopefully make more sales and have more of a community like Emily does. But also I loved a Kickstarter that she did. So Kickstarter is crowdfunding. So it's more a case of for an immediate project that would be potentially out of somebody's budget, and you're helping them have the funds to create that product that they wouldn't normally be able to do. And I loved your one with the horses and the carousel and things, because it did have in there, it had those little positive, upbeat things of, oh, actually, life is that kind of cycle or that cyclical kind of thing. And are we going around in circles? Or are we actually learning things as we go? Are we actually coming back to where we start? Or actually are we enjoying the magic of being on a fairground ride? And it's so like, oh, I am strong is one of the affirmations that you had in there. I was like, yes, perfect.
Yeah, I just love the idea of, I mean, there's the part of me that just loved the idea and the imagery, of the fairground ride, and I loved that. And obviously like Mary Poppins, growing up with all of that, and that I love all of that. But then it was this idea of whenever we go, I mean, not all of them have it, but they have names on the horses. And very recently I took Luca and we were looking for names on there, and we were looking out for names and which one should we sit on. And so when I was kind of coming up with this idea, and my thought was, you step up to this sort of carousel of life and you're about to get on this horse. Which one are we getting on? Are we going to be brave? Are we going to be strong? I mean, I could have done 100 different horses. I had to limit myself to 2. But the idea of like making a decision of, no, I'm getting on the brave horse. Like, I am being brave. I'm getting on it and we're going on this carousel. And I just loved that idea, and I'd not seen it be done before. And it's been a great success. People really love it. But I could do 100 different horses with different things on it. I really have to stop myself. Yeah,
I loved it because it partially invokes the child in people, isn't it? It's the excitement of rides and things. And as we know, you're a lover of Disney and have been there. But it's kind of there's just so many levels to that, aren't there? Really,
there are. Yeah, they're the people that will look at it, see the horse, and think, oh, that's pretty. I'll have that pin. And then there's people that really have messaged me to say like the meaning behind it and where they wear it and how they wear it. And I love it. I love coming up with concepts and stories like that and little projects. And that's why I do Kickstarters, because it's just these projects become such massive things. I don't intend them to become so big, but Kickstarter is the perfect platform for them. So I need to plan my next one.
What else? Oh yeah. Do you have any plans to do any writing or any studying at all? Or
Not right now, no. In terms of like writing and things, I suppose I don't even have time to draw. So I think, I need to focus on doing some drawing. Studying is one of those I keep coming back to. I love being in education, and I'm constantly thinking like, oh, should I go and do a master's degree? Should I do something? But I don't know. Right now, no. Only because of, like I said, the focus right now is family. But who knows, as Luca gets older and more independent, it might be something I look down. I didn't know whether to head down a bit of a coaching route and like look into learning about that and becoming like because I really love it. I've been doing a lot of mentoring sessions recently, one-to-one mentoring, and that fills me with joy. I didn't realize just how much, like, I feel like I'm helping others, but when I come off the calls, it helps me massively, and I really enjoy doing it. And the only thing that kind of not stops me, but I am only doing it based on my personal experience, which I feel like I've gone through a lot, but I didn't know whether to study more so I can be even more helpful, if that makes sense. But yeah, I've not really thought about like writing or anything like that.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. That does something. I can't speak now. That definitely sounds like something that looks brilliant for you. I can see that you'd be a brilliant coach, and if that is where your heart lies in some respects, yeah, there's no harm exploring it at some point.
Yeah.
As you say, it's kind of like the world's your oyster in a way. It's
Yeah.
when you want to do something, do it. If you don't, fair enough. But yeah, there's no harm in exploring it if you feel called to. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, should be exciting.
It's lovely to hear that you've actually enjoyed the mentoring sessions that you've given and things.
I have loved it. I've absolutely loved it. Yeah, I've done a couple now, and sometimes like just before I get all nervous and think I don't know what I'm going to say and I don't know how I'm going to help this person, and I have these worries, and then like within 10 minutes of the call starting, I've got ideas and I'm thinking like I can help them with this and I can do that, and I'm just like, chatting away. And sometimes you don't realize like the lessons you've learned, and it can be really small things you've picked up along the way, and it might seem so simple to you because you maybe use it every day, or but there's people that that are new to it, and there were one of the mentoring calls, I can't remember what it was, but I suggested something, and I didn't even think twice about it because it's something I do in my business, and it was like a revelation to them, and I was just like, oh, I didn't realize that was such a big thing. Okay. And I was just like, no, there are things I've learned and I can help. And having messages back to be like, this is what I've done, I've implemented this, I've tried this is working. I'm like, yes, it's working, I'm helping people. And that feeling is amazing. Yeah, I really, really love it. And I'm hoping, oh, hang on, sorry, lost you. There you go. I am really hoping to expand the mentoring side. Like, I love Patreon and I love doing tutorials and Zoom calls and things, and I think that's working brilliantly. But I'd really love to push the sort of one-to-one side the rest of this year, next year. I think it'll be a great balance to Patreon. What I currently do on Patreon and doing the one-to-one, I think it'll be brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, what you were saying about the way that you feel halfway through a call and then also afterwards, that is kind of how I feel when I'm doing astrology readings or tarot readings for people. It is that beauty, and you think, well, actually, I didn't realize I was learning something from my client as well.
Yeah.
And it's when you come off the call, you think, wow, I've actually helped by not realizing that I had, as you say, all that knowledge or wisdom or experience. Or within astrology, for me, it would be something like, well, actually, just highlighting you have this gift, it's in your chart somewhere, and you can enhance it by doing so and so if you want to, or This challenge doesn't have to be as big as you think it might be. But have you tried so and so, or maybe this? It's kind of the way of holding space as a coach or a mentor or any kind of professional in that way. It's lovely. It really is. And actually, a lot of people are looking for kind of a mirror. They're looking for someone to give back to them what they have been wondering themselves. For someone to then enhance that by saying, well, actually, I can see this about you. You're giving them the reassurance and that permission in a way to do what they love and what they want to do anyway. That is just a lovely thing. It's really beautiful thing, a place to be and hold space for people. There's nothing like it.
No, there isn't.
And sometimes we just need to give ourselves a bit more love and compassion and kindness. We can give it to other people, no problem. But it's kind of when it's to ourselves, it's like, oh, I have permission to do this for me too.
Yeah, I know.
Well, is there anything that you want to share at all, Emily? Anything that's coming up or anything you want people to know?
Well, not really. I'm like, as I said, I am slowing down a little bit now. So I have a few kind of events coming up in July, and then I'm going to be taking a break. So I'll be quite quiet over the summer, but it's all in preparation for a very busy Christmas. So I am already planning Christmas collections and things, which is going to be very exciting. So the Christmas decoration you explained, I'm going to be doing another one this year, which is going to be really beautiful. That's in the planning right now. And I'm just hoping to just be really present this Christmas. I think I've just kind of worked solidly for years, so every Christmas just feels like a bit of a blur because it's so busy. I've not been able to like enjoy it. So this year I'm hoping by having a month off in September I'll be back and raring to go. But yeah, I'm back home now, so it's kind of full circle for me. That's what it feels like. I started the journey in this room and I'm like back to it now in a much different like way, you know. I was packing some orders in here the other day and it was just like, wow, I used to like have an order a week if I got that, and I used to pack them in this room, and then I got 10 on one live stream, and it was just like, gosh, how far we've come, you know. And so I'm really excited to be back in here, and yeah, I'm looking for. I don't know what the future holds. I've literally no clue, but that's what's cool, right?
Yeah,
it's exciting.
It is.
So I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you so much for joining, Emily. I mean, you're welcome to stay in the studio for a bit and have a little debrief if you want to, or you know. But I'm going to probably finish up the live here and say a massive thank you. Yeah, thank you, Emily, for joining me, and thank you to everyone that joined us as well on the live chat. It was so lovely to have your company, and anyone in future. I hope that we've given you some value. So thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.